start recording. All right, I am Jessica Weaver, wealth advisor, best-selling author, and financial blogger, and I am so excited because we have Cassie on with us, who has quite a story. She also has a book coming out that we are going to dive into today. So, Cassie, can you tell us a little bit about your background and as much of your story that you'd like to share with us today?
So my name's Cassie Salmons. I'm an addict. I've been clean since June 9th, 2010. So I am, yeah, it's been about 10 years. When I first got clean, I never thought that I would make it this long, because addiction is a hard thing to overcome. It's one of those things that's, it's not just your mind, it's your spirit and everything else that's affected. Your spiritual well-being is affected. Everything is. So I've been clean 10 years, and now I am a top producing real estate agent in the Dallas-Fort Worth metro area. My office is in a little country town, Justin, Texas. We moved here 4 years ago, and we love it here. I'm very grateful for where I am today, because it hasn't always been this easy. Do you want me to tell some of my...
Well, yeah, let's go into, how you came to be, because being a top real estate producer in your area, that's quite a feat. Do you feel successful right now at this time in your life?
I actually do. It's probably the first time in my life I felt really successful.
Wow. What does success mean to you? What is your gauge of what a successful person is for you?
So for me, success isn't just about how much money's in my bank account or any of that. Success to me is how I feel on a daily basis, how connected I am with God, how well do I mother my children, and most importantly, how do I treat other people? People that can do nothing for me, how do I treat them? And I think that's my measure of success.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And this is what I'm learning as I'm doing more and more of interviewing women like you who have overcome quite a tough time, made something of themselves, kind of rose up to the challenge and brought themselves back time and time again. It's no longer about the money. Like, maybe the money helped you get out of a bad spot, get to a nicer, I don't know, house or school district, or put food on the table. But then you got to a point where it's not about having more and more money. Like you said, it's kind of that feeling inside, a sense of peace.
Yes, that's it. That's exactly it, a sense of peace. Before the whole coronavirus started, I was shopping a lot. I was shopping like every day. Just another part of addiction. And then all that stuff started and all the stores shut down. And I got to kind of take a step back and look at everything. And my house is like overflowing with stuff, and I'm like, okay, this has got to stop. So I took a step back. I really started praying about it. And honestly, I can't tell you the last time I've been shopping, and it feels better than ever.
That's huge.
So
music to my ears. That's amazing, Cassie. I've come to realize that I feel like with money, you can buy stuff or you can buy time. And everyone gets to that point where they've had enough stuff. They bought enough stuff. They have enough. They're inundated with it. And now you're valuing your time a lot more. And we'll go into this because I know we've had discussions about how you want to keep growing your business and empire, but having more time for your family.
Yeah.
And I see the same thing with women coming up to retirement, right? They have enough stuff. They made enough money. Now they're valuing their time left here on this earth, and they want to enjoy it. They want to enjoy their health, their family, travel, all those different things. So it sounds like you've started to make that transition from stuff to prioritizing time.
Absolutely. I think I have, finally.
During your journey, has there been kind of an underlying theme of what's helped you overcome things that's helped pull you through, do you think?
Um, I just think that my faith has, um, when I get in a hard spot, instead of like panicking today, I just start to pray about it because I really don't have any control over stuff anyways. But just letting go of the control that I think I have and really just focusing on God has been the best thing for me.
Oh my God, that's exactly that's what I've been in therapy for. Yeah, letting go of control and having certain expectations of how you want it to come out. Right? You
Yeah.
get to a point where you don't have any more control. You don't have so much control over what a seller buyer is going to do in the end. You can guide them as best you can, but then it's in their hands. So that's so perfect. Instead of panicking, you pray.
Hmm.
He's,
Absolutely.
and when did you get into real estate? Why don't we start there?
Oh, this is a long time ago. So my grandfather was a developer
Okay.
and my dad was a custom home builder.
Wow.
So I've been on job sites since I was 2 of him
That's
building.
cool. That's a good learning experience.
Yeah, so I actually got my real estate license when I was 24.
Mhm.
So I've had it
Wow.
for, I'm gonna tell my age. I've had it for 16 years.
Okay.
So it's been a minute. I love real estate. I love it. I love all aspects of it. So, and I look at things a little differently because of my background with my dad being a builder.
Mhm.
Um, I can go into a house and I can pick out, if it's got foundation trouble or if it's got, just different things. I know from being on job sites with him, I just look at things a little bit differently. And I think that's really beneficial to my clients.
Oh, that's experience that a lot of people can't learn from books.
Right.
You have to have that on-site experience that you grew up around. Okay, so you grew up in the world, and then you got your license. Um, and I know it hasn't been always easy. I don't know how to explain kind of your story. Do you want to tell us kind of that turning point for you when it kind of really started to take off?
So I think I started using when I was like 22, and then I finally got clean when I was 30.
Okay.
So it took me a long time to get there. Um, once I once I got clean, it wasn't easy. Um, I worked different jobs. I had my real estate license,
Hmm.
but I wasn't able to really focus on it because I had tiny kids.
Yeah.
So, I'd work at like Outback Steakhouse or I was a personal trainer.
Hmm.
But once, so at 30 years old, I got in trouble for using and I went to prison. Um, so when I went to prison and I walked in the gates there, it's totally dehumanizing when you get there. Um, the way that they treat you, the way that just everything about it is dehumanizing. And when I walked through those gates, I remember clearly saying a prayer and saying, God, I don't know why I'm here. I don't understand why I'm here. But whatever the reason is, teach me what I need to learn so I can be the wife, the mother, the daughter, the sister, just the person that I am supposed to be, and help me get through this. Um, I was supposed to be there 6 months, and I don't think I'd learned what I needed to in 6 months, so I didn't get out till 8 months. Um,
What a
so that
perspective for you to have instead of being bitter
I
about,
was bitter at first. I cried myself to sleep for the first month I was there,
yeah.
and this wonderful lady that I met while I was there, she had older kids. She had been in and out of prison her whole life.
Hmm.
I would just be crying myself to sleep on my bunk, and she would just reach over and touch me, and she'd like pat my arm. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. Her name is Janice. And I will never forget that woman because she, there's people that come into your life that help you. And she was one of those people that God put there to help me. So after I got out of there, we talked a few times. I've lost contact with her now. I don't know where she's at, but I'll never forget that woman. Once I got out, I had to go to a halfway house. And I think that the devil was really testing me when I got there because the 3 girls that I was in the room with, there were 4 of us in there. They were all using drugs.
Oh, jeez.
And I was like, I am not doing this. I am not going back there. So I stayed in the halfway house for about a month. And then I finally got released from there. I got to go home.
What was that like?
So I got home and my husband we had only gotten married like a year before I left.
Okay.
So he had to take a job in Pennsylvania. So I'm in Texas. He takes off to Pennsylvania. And I'd always had help with my kids, like him or my mom or somebody. So he takes off to Pennsylvania. And I have these kids by myself. And I'm like, what the heck am I supposed to do with these little kids?
Yeah.
But one of the main points I forgot is when I went to prison, I basically handed over my youngest daughter to him. She was 2.5 months old.
Wow.
And I said, I'll see you when I see you. I don't know when I'll be back. So I missed her first 4th of July, her first Halloween, her first Thanksgiving, her first Christmas, her first birthday. Like, I missed all of that. And thank God for my family because my dad and stepmom and my mom brought one of my kids to me every single weekend.
Oh, that's amazing. For you to
So they drove that 4-hour drive to South Texas to bring one of my little bitty kids and then 4-hour drive back home.
Wow.
Every weekend.
Is that what helped get you through?
Yeah. I mean, it was hard too because
seeing them.
Yeah, seeing them and them not understanding why I couldn't leave with them. My oldest daughter was 6.
It's young.
Yeah, and then my son was 4. And then the baby, she was just a baby. So
that is hard for them. They don't, and it's hard for them to understand time as well.
Right.
What the future is going to be. Okay.
Yeah. So
you get out and he's working in a different state, far away state. Do you have any support with the kids at that point?
Yeah, my mom was close. She would come over and help me with them. But then I think 5 months had went by and he was coming home maybe once a month. And I was like, this is too much. I can't continue to do this. So I was on probation, parole stuff because I just gotten out. So I had to complete some aftercare treatment. I completed that and then I could move. So I moved to Pennsylvania to be with him. The week that I got there, he got transferred to Ohio.
No.
So then I had the kids in Texas with my mom's help. But then I get transferred to Ohio and Pennsylvania, and I don't know a soul.
Of course.
So he leaves for work and I'm in Pennsylvania with these kids. So it gave me the time to really spend with myself and my kids and kind of get back. Not that you can ever get back time because you can't, but it kind of helped me to build that bond again with them.
Sure. Yeah.
So I feel like, that was all by God's design that it happened that way. Jason would come, my husband's name's Jason. He would come home every weekend. So we got to see him every weekend, and then he would leave Sunday night and drive back to Ohio. After 6 months of that, I ended up moving back to Texas. And then I was still clean, but I feel like getting away from Texas and from all those people that I had known was the key to my success as far as
Oh,
staying clean.
yeah,
Because you can't stay clean when you associate with the same people.
sure.
And it's not just about the drugs, it's about the lifestyle. I think the lifestyle, getting away from the lifestyle was the hardest part.
Hmm.
Um, it's a different lifestyle than I can't even imagine living that lifestyle today. Like I look back, I'm like, how did I even make it through that? Um, but I'm grateful for all my struggles because I think it made me the strong person that I am today.
Hmm. I could see that having kind of a new scenery, new place, far away, so you have that break. As you, like you said, you found new or found deeper bonds with your children. You found yourself again. You got to pay more attention to your kids, to you, to God, your faith, and then being able to come back in a much better mental state, I'm guessing,
Yeah.
as well. And is that kind of when you started to dabble in the real estate?
No, I'd always had my real estate license. I got my
Okay.
license when I was 24. But when we moved back to Texas, I started actually. So we moved back, and then in 2000 and let me think, 2016 we moved back. So I had my real estate license. I needed to renew it. So I renewed it. I actually got it back on because I had to go through a whole process of renewing it. I'm a felon.
Hmm.
So they want to know what my charges were, what I did, how I had changed. So I had to go through a grueling year of trying to renew this license because I had let it expire when I left. Um, so once I finally got it back, it was October 31st of 2017.
Okay.
I My husband had been in oil and gas for a long time, and he was getting laid off. So it was like sink or swim
I guess so.
because at that point I became the breadwinner for my family. He
Okay.
had always had that role.
Hmm.
I never really pursued real estate full time because we always had a steady paycheck coming in.
Hmm.
So, and then, it was sink or swim. It
Hmm.
was, you have to support your family. Husband was staying home with kids. I remember sitting in front of my computer for like 4 months straight crying, just crying because I didn't have any deals going on. I wasn't making any money. I was like, how are we ever going to make it? Like, we're definitely going to fail. Um, and I remember my husband every day, he would say, just keep doing what you're doing. Just keep doing it. It's all going to turn around. We're going to be fine. Everything's going to work out how it's supposed to.
Hmm.
So, and I would just sit there and cry. Like, I didn't want my kids to hear me. So I would just sit there and make phone calls and just tears streaming down my face.
The pressure
Um,
you probably felt.
it was a lot of pressure. But then come February 2018, I think I sold 2 homes. And then March, I sold 4 homes. And
Wow.
then April, I had like 6 homes and sold. And then come June, I believe it was June of 2018, I was number one in my company. And I had sold 10 homes that
That's
month.
how quickly it can turn.
Yes. And it was just having somebody behind me that believed in me.
Mhm. I
I
was
mean,
going to say,
believing in myself too.
to have your husband who just kept with it, kept supporting you, wasn't giving you crap, just kept saying, keep at it, the persistence. And it's almost like you have to get to that breaking point and then one more step and then you see you start to see the rewards, the benefits. But there always seems to be that delay to make sure that you really want this, that you are really committed.
Yeah, it was,
Because a lot of people would have just said, okay, let me give up, let me try something else. Was there something pulling you saying like just keep at it, it's gonna work out? Do you think it? Your husband? It was you?
So my broker that year, I had just joined this new company, JP and Associates. And my broker that year, I don't remember how we were even communicating because he didn't know who I was. I didn't know who he was. But somehow we were communicating and he invited me to the company awards. And it's a big party. It's called the Seppies. Um, and I saw those people walking across that stage and getting these awards for real estate. And I looked at my husband, and it's a formal event. Mind you, I hadn't been in a formal dress since high school, probably. Um,
From.
so I'm watching all these people get these awards, and they get awards for like 3 million to 5 million in sales, 5 million to 7.5 million, 7.5 million, 7.5 to 10, and then the 10 millions came up. And I looked at my husband, and there was only like 5 or 6 of them. I looked at my husband and I said, I'm going to be walking across that stage next year getting that award. And he was like, oh, you are? And I was like, yeah, I am. And so December 2018, that whole year, I hadn't been doing it a full year. I mean, I had, but I hadn't sold anything the whole year. I sold 10.5 million for 2018. And I got my
Wow.
diamond award. And it's just kind of snowballed since then. Like last year I sold 13 million.
Wow.
And then this year, as of today, I've sold almost 14 million.
Oh, it's just August.
I know. So
Cassie.
so I'm really grateful because I didn't do this on my own. It was a bunch of prayer and people pulling for me, and um, mainly my husband behind me cheering me on.
That's amazing that you've had him. And what a dynamic switch too. You becoming the breadwinner and he's staying home. How did that change anything in your relationship? Did that cause any, is it kind of a new way of,
It was hard at first because I had always, made sure the laundry was done and the this and the that and the dinners were cooked. And so he did the best he could, and he did a really good job. Um, I won't say he's a professional laundry person, but he did the best he could.
say,
So
that stuff probably was still on your mind though,
it was,
right? You're
yeah.
out seeing houses with clients and you're probably like, is that laundry getting done? Or what am I gonna have to clean up when I get home?
Yeah, so it was a learning process for both of us. But I think that's what marriage really is. It's growing together and learning. So we've really grown over the past 3 years. He's actually now licensed, and he works on my team. I got too busy; I couldn't keep up.
Mhm.
So I
Good
told him,
problem
I
to
was like,
have.
yeah, I told him, you got to get licensed or do something. So he got licensed, and I can tell he listens to me when I'm on the phone because I hear him saying stuff that I would say, and I'm like, yes, he's got
Getting
it.
it. Yeah.
So we're doing really good.
That's amazing. What a
You know,
story. What has been kind of your underlying why? Like, why is real estate important to you? Why is providing for your family?
so I grew up. My dad was always around, but I didn't live with him. I lived with my mom, and I remember her struggling. She was a single mom. She would struggle, and I don't ever want my kids to feel that struggle. Not that it wasn't a good struggle, because some struggles are good. Um, but if we want to go to the movie, I want to be able to take them to the movie. Or if we want to go on. So this year was the first time we ever went on a family vacation, and because we could never afford it
That
before.
must have been amazing.
It was. We went to the beach, and it was the best time ever. So just little stuff like that.
Mhm.
Um, that's why it's important. But I have a bigger vision for my business. I don't ever sell anything to anybody that I wouldn't buy. And
Mhm.
I try to shoot everybody completely straight. I do shoot everybody completely straight. Um, if there's an issue with the house, you're going to know about it. I don't sweep things under the rug.
So you seem like a very authentic person that would tell like it
Yeah.
is.
And so I tell it like it is, but if there is an issue, I want my clients to fully be aware of what they're walking into. And I feel like just having that as my main focus for my business, I get so many referrals, and I think it's just because I do what's right by people.
Yes. Yes.
So
And people can tell right away when you're trying to sell them something or because you're actually trying to help because you care. And you probably come to the place like you have enough money. You're not doing it just for the money anymore. You're doing it because you want to provide a home for their family.
right.
So, but yeah, if you do it for the money, people can tell and you'll burn out. And maybe that's one of the things that kept pulling you through too when you weren't getting sales because you were doing it for the right reasons.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, using on my screen. That's amazing. How does it feel now?
It's I just have a heart to help people. So the more the more money that I make, the more I'm able to help other people.
Make more money, help more people.
Yeah.
That's the title of my business coach's book, and it's so true.
It is.
The
I
more
just
wealth
had
you earn, the more you can bring up the whole community, the people you love, the people you care about, and it just that ripple effect. What
right.
do you
One
think
of them.
you want your legacy to be?
Do what?
What do you think you want your legacy to be?
I don't know. I think I just want to be remembered as somebody who struggled in the beginning and overcame, and then was able to pull more people through.
Yeah.
The depths of addiction, because that's where my heart is. I love selling real estate, but I love helping addicts get clean even more.
Is that the reason for writing your book?
Yes.
To make them feel like,
Yeah, because when I was in prison, I thought, oh my gosh, I've ruined my life. I'm never gonna be anything. I suck as a human. I suck as a mom. I'm a horrible parent. I'm a horrible daughter. I mean, it was overwhelming how horrible I felt. And I don't want people to go. I've actually been back to the prison to tell my story. And no matter how you think you've ruined your life, you're not that powerful. God is still in control, And
perfect.
so just being able to tell my story and saying, I went from this and now I'm here, that gives those women hope.
Mm-hmm.
And hope is a lot better than any dope could ever be. Just having some hope. So that's why I want to write my book.
I think there's so much power in stories and you sharing your story. Like you said, it gives them the belief that they can do it and that they can take action and create a life like you've created. And that's the biggest thing. That's why I interview people like you because I want to share your story because it gives people beliefs and hope and almost a chance for them to breathe and be able to think about their future, give them permission to think about their future and have big dreams. Did you ever think you would be where you are today?
No. No. No, I didn't.
What do you want your children to learn? Or how do you want them to value money and success in their life?
We talk a lot about, I have a very open household, so they know my struggles.
Yeah.
They know I went to prison. I'm not quiet about it because if I'm quiet about it, who can I help? If I'm ashamed about where I've been, who can I really help? So I'm not quiet about it. I'm very vocal. And the main thing I want them to know is no matter what you do, you can come back from it.
Yeah, 100%.
So there was a kid that was on a motorcycle traveling through our town, and he got hit and he got killed. He was running from the police. And all these people are like negative about what he did, but he's still a child.
Yeah.
And I feel like maybe if he had been taught that there's nothing that you can do that you can't come back from, he would have stopped for those police. You know, and I think that's a big thing that these kids in the world today need to see is you can screw up. It's okay to screw up. How are we going to fix it?
Yes.
You know, because we all mess up. We all do dumb stuff. But hiding behind it or under it or whatever, sweeping it under the rug doesn't fix anything. So I'm very big on it's okay to mess up, but let's figure out a solution. And my kids know that. So when my daughter comes to me and she's like, Mom, we got to talk, and she's crying, I'm like, oh, here we go. So, but it's refreshing to know that they can come to me because I never had that relationship with my parents. I couldn't come to them.
Hmm. It is true. I try to say to them, yeah, I had an accident, like you said, because you don't want them to hide it. And I'm sure you see it too when you work with professionals who try to hide behind a mistake they've made. I feel like their integrity's gone. The trust, there's something wrong already with the relationship. And you're right, you don't want your kids that way. I think it's the perfect lesson you're teaching them is that it's okay if we mess up or it's an accident, but let's not hide behind it. Let's be solution focused. Let's find there's going to be a solution out there.
Yeah.
And knowing that they can always lean on you, I think is the most important thing, that you're always going to love them no matter what. You're always going to be there to help them, support them. And they know that if they're coming to you with problems.
Yeah, they do. They know that. Sometimes I'm like, oh, wow, you know, stuff they tell me because growing up today is so different than when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
So
I was
social media and everything.
going to ask you what's one thing that you wish you had known, but maybe that's it, that you can mess up. You can mess up big, but you can come back from it. Do you think that's it?
That's it. That's definitely it.
That's the underlining thing. Yeah.
Yeah, because if I had known, okay, I can go talk to my parents about these mistakes that I've made, then I don't think I would have made so many mistakes.
Wow. Yeah.
But I didn't have that open relationship with them to talk about everything.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's the main focus in my household is I just want, and with my clients, tell me what the problem is and we'll figure out a solution.
Yeah.
You know, if there's an issue with something, tell me and I'll navigate us through it the best I can.
What do you think is next level for you and your business and your family? What do you think's next?
So we just bought, me and my husband and a business partner of mine just bought 10 acres and we are subdividing it and we are going to build barn dominiums.
What?
So have you ever heard of a barn dominium?
No, it sounds
so
interesting.
cool. They're so cool. You'll have to Google them.
Okay.
So it looks like a metal building,
Okay.
but when you go inside, it's like the most beautiful home.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of a country thing out here in Texas.
Okay.
They're kind of
How cool.
they're kind of a big deal here. You know, and we may eventually go into building homes, but we may get into developing land.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I would rather develop land. So that's what we hope to be doing in the next 5 to 10 years.
That's amazing. Do you want your children to join you at some point?
So with all of the COVID-19 stuff that's gone on, my son is very ADHD,
Mm-hmm.
and he cannot do online. I mean, he can do online stuff, but
it would be hard for me to sit in front of a computer for that long.
yeah,
Just
so
listening and learning.
they have these kids sitting in front of the computer for like 8 hours a day doing Zoom lessons.
Oh my gosh.
That's not feasible for him. So I pulled him out of school. He goes to work with my husband every day. They're learning together how to subdivide this property.
Wow.
And then he does his schoolwork. He actually starts school September 9th. So
Okay.
he'll come to the office in the morning, do his schoolwork for 3 hours or whatever, while
Mhm.
I'm checking email and getting my day together. And then they will go subdivide land and start to build stuff.
That's awesome. He's got to be
So
very excited about it.
he's so excited. He's like, Mom, do you think I can be a millionaire by the time I'm 24?
Something to shoot
I'm
for.
like, you can do whatever you want, babe. So
That's
he's
amazing.
only, he's 14. So
Okay.
we're just gonna start him on that early, and
Hmm.
hopefully, he'll find his passion in it.
It's such good knowledge to have and experience, which you can tell firsthand because same thing for you. You grew up around it, and it gave you that edge that most
Yeah.
people can't have, most realtors can't have. Anything last you want to say before we end our interview, Cassie?
I don't think so. I just give all of my success to God. I'm just grateful.
I think that's the
God and God
best
and
thing
my
to
family. Yeah.
be grateful,
Yep.
grateful, and it just keeps getting better and better, and then your gratitude grows and grows.
Absolutely.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Cassie. This has been so much fun.
Thank you.